Just trying to take it slow and eventually work my way to the top and make it to the 500. But I don't want to be one of those guys who gets a, you know, lobbies for some sort of provisional and then ends up just getting spanked every weekend, you know. So the big tracks, the restrictor plate tracks, a lot of fun. It's easy for me to be competitive. You mentioned the intermediate and the short tracks, very challenging. I mean, I was racing at Rockingham earlier this week. Wow, is that fast? Wow, is Bristol hard too? I mean, extremely challenging. So what I guess I'm trying to say is I got a lot to learn, and I need more seat time, more time in ARCA, more time in late models, maybe with Ricky Brooks, and just get better.
Yeah. All right, we'll go over here to John.
Thanks, sir.
John Newby Fanbus. I have two questions for Travis over here on the right.
Sorry.
You're good. So I know a few years back that you kind of stepped away from NASCAR. You said, you know, it was harder, I guess, than you expected. But since then, you've done a Daytona 500, ran well in that. You've come back for some truck races. What keeps, you know, bringing you back in? Is it just the desire to get better at this discipline, or fun?
It's honestly, it's the fun. I mean, threaten me with a good time, we're going to be there. And the coolest part right now is the sponsorships that we have. We got Brunt Workwear, which is blue collar. I met those guys here at the Daytona 500. They love everything about NASCAR. All their employees love NASCAR. All the people that support Brunt Workwear love NASCAR. And they're like, dude, we want to go down to Daytona. And I'm like, look, I'm not the best pavement driver. I came from motocross. I went to rally. When in doubt, throttle out, all-wheel drive, Gymkhana, videos, like that kind of stuff. I like being sideways. That's not how you go fast on pavement, for sure. But Brunt Workwear said, hey, we really don't care. Like, yeah, we want to win. I want to win. I want to be as competitive as possible. Went to Nice Motorsports. They were like, hey, you know what? We're going to get you out there. And literally the next week, I'm talking to Cletus. And I'm like, dude, you got to go down. He sells himself short. He's one of the best wheelmen, like just natural wheelman, because he drives more vehicles than almost anyone. He jumps into a plane race and freaking wins that, jumps into boat races, wins it. Like, he can drive anything. And as Denny Hamlin told me when I was trying to lobby for a spot at the 500, he goes, look, these guys have been working their whole life to learn how to drive NASCAR. But when you put in a restrictor plate race here at Daytona, like, the biggest thing is that you keep having fun. You keep being aware of everything that's going on around you. You try not to mess up the pits, which we got to talk about because I'd overshot the pit box. 50 mile an hour feels like you're stopped, and then you just hit the brakes and you slide for, you know, because you're still going 50. But you'll figure that out. But if you don't make so many mistakes here, someone like Cletus, who can drift anything, who can drive anything, when people start bumping and shoving, and I tried the Crown Vics, I thought that was a joke out here. I was like, sure, I'll go run Crown Vics around Daytona. But when we got here, I was bumping and shoving and moving this guy, and he stayed right on that line. And I said, you know what? We're going to have a lot of fun. And you got Tony Stewart, you got so many guys dropping down. It's just going to be a fun race.
We got Stenhouse.
Well, Stenhouse on the team, Nice. Like, he wanted us over there at 3. We got some press, but I was like, as soon as you're done the ARCA, we've got some homework to go over tonight.
We've got a great team. And what did we say earlier? We're so good at crashing, it helps us not crash.
Yes.
That's where our skill set helps out.
And then on just a separate note, in the past, you know, I covered a few of the Nitrocross events, and it looked like it had huge fan support. I was curious, is there been any update? Because I know it's been kind of inactive after that sudden shutdown a few years back.
Really, it came down to, we were having a lot of fun. The cars were extremely expensive for the amount of press we were getting, and Dana said, we're not doing electric. He's like, let's figure out. And at the end of the day, a lot of the different manufacturers go on. So whatever happens at the end of the day, he's like, I want loud, I want aggressive, I want the sound, the rumble, I want basically what NASCAR's, what you guys are doing. We started talking quite a bit with some of the NASCAR officials and say, how do we make this work? And I said, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's make a car that's more durable. We got to make the tracks. We had a lot of the Europeans and the influence. Everything kept going back to what had been done in the past, which is great. Rallycross is awesome. But everyone's like, oh, no, that jump's too big. This is too dangerous. That if you can't hit it, why? I just ran into a lot of roadblocks where I think if we had a chance to do it again, we'd go louder, we'd go more power, and we'd go more just simple with the machines and durable, and try to take another ramp at it.
We come up here to Dave, and then over here to the right.
Dave Moody from MRN and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. Cleet, hard card debates notwithstanding, just for broadcast purposes so we all know, do you want to be Garrett? Do you want to be Cletus? Do you want to be the combo, Garrett, Cletus McFarland?
I think Cletus McFarland for
Okay,
everything.
that's the one that cashes the check, so I
Yep.
figured that would be it.
Yeah,
right?
Cletus
okay.
for everything.
All right, that's what it'll be then. Thank you.
Great question, though. I like that. It's been confusing for me, too.
I didn't think we. Never mind.
A friend called me it back in the day. Yeah, I mean, changed my life the day he said it. And I don't even know. It was at first, it was like a redneck personality, and then it just merged with my actual personality, and now I'm stuck. I'm like the Hulk, but I'm stuck in between.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Chris Gollin with News Daytona Beach. I have a couple questions for Travis, actually. First of all, what is it about superspeedway racing that's so challenging that motorsports guys from other disciplines might not be able to pick up on just by watching it?
Well, that's an interesting question because as far as like qualifying, it's a lot to do with the team. It's a lot to do with the car. Restrictor plate racing in general takes a lot of the skill set that separates the drivers. It takes it away, but there's a whole nother skill set. Like they said, Dale, they say could see the wind. And I have to say that I had a couple 100-page booklet when I was racing the Daytona 500 on where to be and how to slow people down, how to speed yourself up, how to get the bump just right, how to work with even the differences between, the Toyotas and the Chevys and, everything that's out there. There's a different spot to be. And the guys that are the most prepared, the guys that have done it the most, the guys, honestly, nowadays, the guys that are doing the most iRacing and just understanding, we're in that last lap coming off of, running inside the top 10, coming off of 2, and my spotter goes, "Get on, Bubba." And I'm thinking, shoot, we're gonna push through to a potential like 1-2 finish at the Daytona 500. And I got so excited, I forgot to check my my bumper, and someone had come up to it. And it's fine. People come up and they bump you all the time, but you need to be watching while you're watching the front and while you're listening to what's on the side of you. You got to know where the cars are around you, and to be able to to have that communication with your spotter. It takes time to have that whereabout when you're trying to lock on, trying to drive perfect, hit your line, and get to the person that you're trying to get to at the correct spot while still paying attention to who's behind you and who's around you, and knowing what that does with the car. It's a game of chess at 200 miles an hour, and my heart rate average was 172. So anyone that tells you it's not scary is full of it. It was awesome.
And the other thing I wanted to know is, I've read where you've said before that you've had so many injuries in your motorsports career that you don't remember a lot of them. And I wanted to know, in your NASCAR career, have there been any wrecks and incidents that have been significant enough to stand out amongst all that you've done?
The NASCAR organization does an amazing job in the tracks of trying to make it as safe as possible. But at 200 miles an hour, things happen, and you've seen it at the Daytona 500. And I was a scary finish a couple years ago, upside down. I was watching at home on TV, just hoping and sending all the good thoughts and prayers that everything was okay. And obviously, Kyle broke his leg here. Like it's dangerous, it's fast, but the cars are significantly better, and it is definitely, it's getting safer. Does that mean it's safe? Absolutely not. But having said that, no, I've had some good bell ringers out there for sure, but lucky enough, haven't had any major injuries. Thanks.
We'll go over here, and then we'll go to right next. Go to Bob, and then we'll. Yep.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports for Cletus. The better your truck has the tribute to Greg. I'm curious, is there any certain meaning to the number of stars or anything, the halo, or that maybe we don't know just by looking at it?
No, what you see is just the tribute there. It's just be like Biff and his number. Obviously, there's nothing extra to it.
Go back to Steven.
Steven Toronto, West Toronto 92 Network. This is going to be a question for Cletus. You were a part of the launch of NASCAR's new branding that commercial that dropped after the Super Bowl, the hell yeah, kind of leaning into NASCAR
Yeah.
being its authentic self. You've really tapped into the kind of badass, hell yeah, woo NASCAR part of stock car racing's culture. So what was it like to be a part of that and get to do what you did with Carson?
Well, I got to say, NASCAR has done a great job of embracing. And I don't think the whole hell yeah commercial is just, like, I'm not taking credit for it or anything, but like, I can tell you my fans loved it. And I think I was excited when they said they're doing a hell yeah commercial. I was like, absolutely, I'll be in that, And I think that NASCAR is embracing a newer wave of culture of that hell yeah mentality, and like, I really think that the promotions they've had the last few months have been in the right direction, and just being a part of it, especially with Carson, who's one of my best friends in the industry, really fun, really awesome.
Whose idea was it to shoot fireworks out of the Dale truck, launch a flamethrower off of the Dale truck? Who suggested that?
That was the production team. I didn't even have to suggest it. I showed up and they're like, I knew we were doing something with the Dale truck, Carson's Dale truck. And I was impressed that they went all out. They had flamethrowers ready for me when I got there. I mean, they're really doing it.
Sweet. Thank you, Cletus.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I was kind of thinking about something on that too. And like, everyone's like, what are your goals for being here, and what would be a success? And kind of to that with NASCAR right now, I've got all of my kind of blue collar sponsors, my veteran, military type of sponsors that are really excited to be a part of NASCAR. And when there's an opportunity to come down here, like Black Rifle, I was standing next to Cletus, and one of the owners of Black Rifle was there at the 2.4 hours Le Mullets at his track, which honestly, the Freedom Factory has done a great job of having people really enjoy racing again and really enjoy just getting out and kind of almost grassroots. Like, you see such a resurgence in dirt track and all of this stuff that's coming up. But Black Rifle comes in and says, hey, Brunt Boots is in this, you're in this, Cletus in this. Like, hey, we're going to come down. We want to be a part of it. We want to bring some veterans. Like, how can we contribute to everything that NASCAR is doing, to all of our fans and all of the veterans, everyone that's going to be coming down and watching anyway. And then, they're combined with Nice, with Brunt, and with Black Rifle, they're donating $100,000 to Boot Campaign, which goes to give a thanks and support to all the veterans and first responders. While we're down here at Daytona, literally living the American dream. Everybody in this room, at one point, this was, for me, this was my dream from as long as I can remember. I wanted to be at Daytona at some point, and this is such a cool thing. And I think NASCAR is doing such a great job right now that they have sponsors that just want to be a part of it, because so many of the people that are supporting them and supporting us are also wanting to be down here. We have sponsors because people want to have fun and they want to come to NASCAR, and that's a huge step for me to be able to have more fun and hopefully be at more races.
All right, we got time for one more or two more. We'll go to Dalton and then Mike.
Hey guys, Dalton Hopkins, the front stretch. For both of you, you're going to get to share a track with Tony Stewart tomorrow. How cool is that, for one? And for two, do you have any kind of iconic moments of his that you like to think about?
Dude, I got a text from Tony Stewart like 2 days ago. It was freaking fantastic. So Tony, my first full season, first race here at Daytona, Tony was up in the front. He said he was just figuring out what the car was. He jumped, at the time it was Nationwide. And he drops, so my spotter, because I had Trevor Bain on the team. They're like, all right, Trevor's going to be up there mixing it up. Just don't make a mistake. Take what you can get. We'll see you at the end of the race. And I'm just driving around the back. I'm like, this is freaking awesome. I'm driving to Daytona. And Tony Stewart comes back. And my spotter goes, hey, Tony said jump on his bumper. Casey Kane got him behind me. Annette on the 43 jumped in behind him. We all went up into the top 10. There was a crash and everything happened. And I lost Tony. And then he went on to win, and I went across the finish line backwards after Larson put it into the... Anyway, but it's a top 10 finish, and I had the most fun of my life and was a full NASCAR. And huge Tony from the front, drops to the back, has my spotter tell me to get on his bumper, and takes me all the way up to the front. It was freaking awesome. I hope he does it again.
He's a legend. Tony comes to my Crown Vic races, and it's just something I'd never expect from, a guy like Tony Stewart. Like, what an accomplished driver. He comes out of his way, flies into town to run our Crown Vic races, And I can specifically remember we were on the last lap of the race, and there was a 632 10.3 liter big block was the prize for our Crown Vic race. So it's high stakes. Tony's leading the race, and one of my buddies, or one of my guys who works in my shop, works on our race cars every day, who's also in the race, just taps Tony, gets him loose. Tony spins and loses the race, and Tony comes flying up after the race, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna be pissed. I know, like, I watched Tony growing up, and he gets out, and he's like, that was awesome, and I'm just like, man, he's so cool. He's exactly what you'd expect. You see him on TV, you think he's awesome. He is awesome. And I texted him today. Actually, I was going to put in an official protest with NASCAR. He didn't come to the rookie meeting for the trucks, so that was pretty outrageous. But I'll let it slide. And I'm really excited to see him out there.
All right, one last one real quick with Mike.
Travis, you mentioned earlier when you ran the 500, you had a 200-page tip sheet or booklet or whatever. Where did that come from?
I think physics is the best answer. I'm not sure. No, so the teams. So whoever's honestly, so you have whoever you're driving for, the manufacturer will send information, and it's pretty amazing how much information, depending on which team you have.
Did you read it?
Yes,
All of it?
all of it. I fell asleep a couple times,
Okay,
but
I'm
I finished
impressed.
it. No, it's the amount of homework that's involved in racing these days. No matter what sport you're doing, they're definitely amazing drivers. But the people that are winning, the Jimmy Johnsons that have won so many championships, and that's even before really iRacing, that kind of stuff came in. It's the people that could work with their crew chief, with their spotter, that had the best team of support around them, and that worked the hardest on Monday and Tuesday coming into the race.
Well, all right, guys. Thank you guys for coming in, and good luck this weekend.
Can I mention something really quick?
Sure can.
I want to invite all of you press to come to the Freedom Factory at any time this year. You can look up the schedule. Totally free to come. I'll give you an email if you want to write it down. It's events@fffl.com. You email us. We'll give you guys media credentials. We'd love to have any of you if you want to see some redneck stock car racing.
All right. Thank you, guys.
FFFL,
awesome.
Freedom Factory.
No worries, man.
Abbreviated.
All right.